Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? I'm back with part two. My bad. I did have to go through and handle a thing or two, but yo, we are here, and actually, I'm gonna pick up from where I left off, or at least I recall last leaving off. I think the last point that I was making was something about how I guess I was still, I was disappointed overall in general in a number of different things regarding the NBA postseason just this past year, or just what ended up just passing by. Really, because I guess the thought that I had in mind was whenever it is that teams happen to go about and they come and they clash, like I guess I was under the assumption, or maybe just under the idea that that's not necessarily always the case, where the best players really come through and they show out and they live up to it. But at the end of the day, so there's got to be one winner and one loser. That doesn't always happen to be the case, where the best players come through and they play well, or even I'll say play well the entire series, whether it be 4 games, 5 games, 6 games, or 7 games, or whatever. But overall, it just seems like just for that particular series, like it may have been the case where like a star or the stars for one team came, but it wasn't necessarily reciprocated on the other side. Or even there's been times where the stars for both sides sort of kind of aren't, they're not playing up to the standard that they set, coming into, said series. And that's exactly how I feel, as it pertains towards the Boston Celtics versus the Miami Heat. I hate to be a critic. I hate to go through and speak in a negative tone and speak, critical, negatively about, really about anything. I really don't want to, but forget it. I'ma do it because I got to. Okay, but no. So the Boston Celtics versus the Miami Heat, this was one of those series. Jason Tatum did not play up to his standards. Jaylen Brown did not play up to his standards. Marcus Smart did not play up to his standards. Jimmy Butler did not play up to his standards. I don't necessarily know if there's a second star on that team, in which I'll say this, the Miami Heat as a unit, even if you want to throw Jimmy Butler in, I think Jimmy Butler played sort of kind of decent. But the Miami Heat as a unit, from Max Strus, Bam Adebayo, as a unit, as a collective, and especially their role players, they played great. As far as the Boston Celtics they're concerned, the only person who I felt like played good was what's his name? Derek White. That's the only person who I looked at and I thought that they were playing good. Derek White, there was a gentleman with dreads, but all I know is he plays excellent. Is something Williams. He plays good defense, and he also, a lot of times when they throw the lobs, he's the one who's on the finishing end, with it. So I think those two people, when I saw them, I thought that they played well. But everyone else, I did not. I didn't think that they played too highly or too good, And I'll say also another thing too. Maybe this is coming from the viewer side, the viewer aspect. I don't necessarily know. I think what's his name, Al Horford. Oh my, y'all! It's just, I think that's the thing, and I'm glad that I brought up Al Horford, because I was about to say I think that he jacks up way too many threes. But overall, as a unit, that was the one thing that killed the Boston Celtics. They just decided that they were going to do things by the three. All right, and there was a number of times where the three ball just wasn't working, especially in this particular series, and it killed them. And I'm literally watching, possessions and stretches where the Boston Celtics, they got a player come up, run through, take a shot, and then miss it, clank it, and then the Miami Heat go through, they take the ball, they run up, and they hit their shot, and they make it, and of course, this is a make or miss league. You know what? I'm glad that I just said that. I'm glad that I said that this is a make or miss league. Doc Rivers, oh Lord, y'all. Again, like I said, I hate speaking critically, or pause, I'm not going to say I hate speaking critically. I would rather not. But Doc Rivers has got to be fired, or something has got to happen, because come on, this is way too many times where his team ends up in game sevens and they fold. I'm not even, bro, I don't even mean to backtrack, but anyway, just, I guess overall, I'm gonna get into the general point. The general point is I'm just disappointed in, what's it called? What is it? The overall NBA postseason, all right? I feel like, one, there's definitely been some good moments. Like, again, LeBron James back in one of those series, he's played amazing. Yeah, actually, like, in that one particular game, even within the final stretch, played amazing, all right? The Jason Tatum for the fourth quarter of Game 6 versus the 76ers, as well as the Game 7. Amazing. There were definitely good stretches. And then not only that, too, I'll say, even though the Warriors, they ended up going out versus the Lakers, like, Steph Curry, I think overall, he played great, even in the first series and versus the Lakers. Nonetheless, played great. But just overall as a unit, it's tough, because Jimmy Butler played well up until, again, his father passed, and reasonably so. But it's just so many different, like, Joel Embiid didn't live up to his standards. Jason Tatum didn't live up to his standards. Jaylen Brown didn't live up to his standards. There's so many players that did not play up to the standard that they set before themselves, and that, the consensus in NBA sports world set before them. And that was a very, very disappointing sight to see, and the Boston Celtics, the Miami Heat series, it went 7 games, but And I'll say this, there was that one game that Derek White ended up one. He was the hero of one of those games. The Marcus Smart taking a shot, missing, and Derek White getting the rebound and laying it up too. That was you see, that's another one of those episodes where that's a great, something great that happened just this past season. But overall, in its entirety, it's just way too many players that I'm looking at, and I'm like, man, that did not turn out the way that it was supposed to turn out, or I don't know. I just find myself just scratching my head. But actually, there was one quick point. Wow, there was one quick point that I was going to make. There was something that I was going to say that sort of kind of contradicted it, but never mind. I guess I'll move on to the final series. There's the Denver Nuggets versus the Miami Heat. Overall, I'll say this, although there was a lot of disappointments, the Denver Nuggets, I think they did exactly what they were supposed to. They came in number 1 seed, and they played up to their standard that they set before them, especially Jamal Murray. I know Jokic was doing his thing throughout the regular season, but it seemed like Murray turned it up in the postseason, especially in the finals. He came through and wowed out. They both had that one game where they both had a triple-double. They were playing out of their minds, and I didn't necessarily sit down and watch every single game, but definitely one major congratulations that goes out to Jokic, that goes out to Murray, that goes out to the entire team of the entire Denver Nuggets team and the entire organization as a unit, just for being able to pull off what they pulled off. And then not only that too, I don't think it was enough fuss or enough buzz. I think this may be their first championship that they ended up pulling off, and definitely that's something that must be noted. Listen, when LeBron James did it for Cleveland, of course there's a whole lot of buzz about it, because it's LeBron James, it's the king, as well as dang, why am I forgetting? One, that's his hometown. But I think that this also deserves, this deserves a good bit of spotlight. This deserves, attention being allocated towards that. So definitely big shout outs to Nikola Jokic, Murray, and Jokic. Though he didn't get another MVP, he very well could have got it this particular year, because he played amazing. But he came through and he did amazing. He did amazing. Definitely cannot deny that, gentleman. And he rightfully deserved the NBA Finals MVP award. I'll say that much. But just overall, like I said, I wanted to save it for the very, very end, because right now I talked about all the series that I wanted to talk about, and I guess I'll even talk a little bit about the Denver Nuggets versus the Suns series. I think even though that ended up going 6 games, that series to me, it felt like that was one of the series where, like, that series went sort of kind of how I thought it would go, or how it was supposed to go, because I thought that the Nuggets was the better team. Not only that, they had more continuity. They've been together for a good bit. The Suns just acquired Kevin Durant. Plus, not only that too, there's conflict between the coach and between DeAndre Ayton. So the Suns, they're going up against a lot within that particular series. But nonetheless, though, more so Devin Booker, but KD definitely wowed out too. Both of those players came through and balled. I feel like the general the consensus, or I'll say the general story leaving out of that series, even though the Nuggets ended up getting that, was Booker wowed. At least pause up until the final game, because now that I think about it, they laid a doozy in game 6. But it's overall, right? This was one of those series. Devin Booker came to ball. KD came to ball. The rest of the team, disappointing. But I guess at the same time too, I mean, maybe I have to go back and think about how those other, say, more successful seasons, NBA seasons, went. Like, I'll say that year that the Cavs won, even though it came at the expense of the Warriors, I would say overall that's a successful postseason. Hell, even the year before that one, I would say was a pretty successful postseason. So I may have to go back and really analyze those seasons and see, if there was as quote unquote disappointments, as I'm claiming with this particular, postseason. But, I guess, hell, this is my breakdown of everything that went down. I can't. Wow, I'm not gonna say it because I feel like I've already said this particular word 3 or 4 times within the past couple of sentences. But yeah, it was I can't even say eventful. It was. I'll just say it was something. It was something, and I hate to be a hater, but it was something, to say the least. But y'all, at this particular point in time, that's all that I happen to have. I didn't mean to cut the last video short, but like I said, I had something to take care of, so it's all cool. But I'm going to go ahead and post. Not tonight, because I do want to go through. Listen, y'all, I've been really, really digging, Judgment. Y'all definitely go check out the YouTube channel. I guess, one, if y'all happen to see this on YouTube, go check out the Judgment playlist. All right, and if you happen to see this on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, wherever, y'all go check out, the Judgment playlist series, because that right there is a very, very interesting game. I knew that I was going to enjoy it, but I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I happen to enjoy it. So definitely, y'all go check out the gameplay on that. I will say that is a non-commentary gameplay series. If you are looking for some commentary gameplay series, check out Assassin's Creed Unity and also God of War, because I did start on those particular series not too long ago, and I do happen to have some videos out. But yeah, nonetheless though, listen y'all, this is the end of episode 43. It's a relatively short one, but I am going to start to try and get more into the swing of things whenever it comes to the podcast, and I won't necessarily say that every single one is going to be long, and I won't say that every single one is going to be short, but I do actually have plans to actually link up with some people to knock out some podcast episodes. So your boy is going to be getting back on the grind and shine whenever it comes to that. But just expect for this particular episode to get out on a number of different platforms as usual. Y'all know how I be when it comes to the content. But nonetheless, I do thank y'all so much for supporting the king, supporting the White Empire, man. Of course, supporting the podcast kingdom. But definitely, y'all make sure that regardless of the platform that y'all happen to be, viewing and taking in the goods on, y'all make sure that y'all like this thing up. Y'all make sure that y'all leave y'all comments. Let me know what you guys think of just this past postseason, especially all of my sports fans. What do you guys think? What and one, feel free to counter any of the points that I mentioned or support it, whichever, or down in the comment sections, or hit me up in my DMs. But definitely, subscribe. Follow the channel, follow the page, whatever. But most importantly, make sure that you stay tuned, stay tapped in, and stay locked in, because the juice over here never stops dripping. All right. I'll catch y'all in the next one, man. Peace, be easy, and as always, y'all stay blessed up.